The Epstein files, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, and having a little bit of a crash out, eh? I've only heard about this from along the grapevine at this point, but it seems like this is a 5 hour long hearing of Pam Bondi basically giving a bunch of testimony, talking about the Epstein files, right? And basically answering questions like, "Hey, Pam, why haven't you released all of the basic documents that was expected of you to release from the DOJ? Like, why haven't you done any of that stuff yet? That's a little interesting." So she's been told to come in and fucking testify, and from what I understand, she made herself look like a complete embarrassment. We're gonna just take a look. Yeah, we'll just look through all of the the main sort of clips here and start here and just get honestly just get like a vibe check, to be honest.
Welcome, Attorney General Bondi.
Hello.
You've got the best lawyer's job in America because your mission is justice and your clients are the American people. But to promote justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring who are demanding that the truth be told.
Yeah, as far as we could tell, it's about 1,000+ survivors of the sex trafficking from Jeffrey Epstein, right? If I recall correctly. And as far as I know, like, Pam Bondi, the DOJ, has spoken with none of them, but the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, can set up time to meet with Ghislaine fucking Maxwell to give a softball interview, for lack of a better term, to try to dig up dirt on the Democrats.
And are demanding accountability for the abusers who trafficked and raped them. You still haven't met with these survivors. So with their permission, let me introduce to you the survivors and late survivors' family members who are present today. There's Teresa Helm, there's Jess Michaels, Laura Bloom McGee, Danny Bensky, Liz Stein, Marina Lacerda,
Hello.
Sky and Amanda Roberts, who are the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, Charlene Richard, and Lisa Phillips. Now, you're not showing a lot of interest in the victims.
Virginia Giuffre, I believe that's the woman who ended up taking her own life because of all the bullshit going on with the Epstein files right now, I think. I'm not 100% certain why she took her own life. I would assume something with the Epstein files.
Madam Attorney General, whether it's Epstein's human trafficking ring or the homicidal governmental violence against citizens in Minneapolis, as Attorney General, you're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims. That will be your legacy unless you act quickly to change course.
He's not wrong there. Pam Bondi in particular has been probably, I think, one of the worst attorney generals ever. And we all know the only reason why specifically Trump chose her is because of A, sycophancy and loyalty, but B, she was also the Attorney General of Florida. At any point in time, she could have been investigating any of these suspicious actions given the sort of like described within the Epstein files at any point in time, and she didn't really do any of that. We do know that Jim Acosta, who was Trump's labor secretary during his first term, was essentially the Attorney General of Florida, and Epstein was first criminally convicted during his tenure as Attorney General of Florida, and then of course Pam Bondi took the spot right after. And she's basically done barely anything in terms of investigating anything into the Epstein files. Again, it's like we all know, like it's a circular firing squad. They're all protecting each other because they know if they ever step out of line, a bunch of pedo blackmail material is basically going to be immediately laid at their fucking feet. And what are all these Epstein co-conspirators going to do about it? Well, they can't do shit about it because they're going to be inherently fucking isolated. It's a very perverted form of solidarity. This has a lot of likes.
That will be your legacy unless you act quickly to change course. You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in Epstein files, but you've turned over only 3 million. You say you're not turning over the other 3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there, and you also took down the Department of Justice.
And just with the half of the stuff that's been released alone, it already looks really, really, really bad for the administration. This is slated to pretty much be the main thing that ends up taking down, well, the administration itself. And I guess Pam Bondi might be the sacrificial lamb who's going to be offered up to the Democrats, saying here, go sacrifice yourself so we can continue getting away with all the abuses of children that we're doing. Pam Bondi. You go ahead. You go ahead and be the sacrificial lamb for us. It's generally insane, dude.
Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did produce, you redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do.
It's true.
Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact.
What was it, like the first 119 pages that were released was just, there was just like half of it was just full black bar page redactions. And there was no explanation for this whatsoever. I really do think that they were expecting this to just completely blow over, for this to not be sort of like talked about anymore. And it was just like, please just let it go away, and so we don't have to like think about the Epstein files anymore. But clearly that was not the case.
Many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some
Sure.
of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends. But you published their names, their identities, their images on
Dangerous
thousands of
for
pages
so many
for the
reasons.
world to see. So you ignored the law, and even with over 100,000
Because we know that like victims of Epstein have already been like murdered and probably thrown in a hole somewhere because of the fact that they were willing to just rat out the actions that were done by all of these like abusers, I guess for lack of a better term. And a bunch of like consequences and harassment has already come to a lot of these like survivors. Like I have like no doubt that a lot of these people have to live with like sort of always like looking over their shoulder, being constantly worried that something terrible may happen to them.
Employees at your disposal, you acted with some mixture of staggering incompetence, cold indifference, and jaded cruelty towards more than 1,000 victims raped, abused, and trafficked. This performance screams cover-up.
I would also say this seems to be a fucking cover-up as well. What do we have here? Another 2.1k likes.
But abandoning victims and coddling perpetrators is what you do best. When the FBI opened a criminal investigation into the brutal killing in Minneapolis of Renee Good, a poet and 37-year-old mother of 3, by Trump's masked paramilitary ICE agents, you shut it down. You claim you're investigating the cold-blooded murder of Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse at the VA.
And also, the FBI has been unwilling to work with a lot of the state, legislators, and also investigators of the Attorney General, specifically of Minnesota, unwilling to work with them to give them evidence in order to do an investigation because they know that they're inherently guilty and that, well, they don't want to get completely caught out and owned.
But how can we trust the administration when the president and Kristi Noem called Preddy a domestic terrorist and Stephen Miller called him a would-be assassin? Not only do you refuse to share evidence with state and local investigators and prosecutors in Minnesota, you have blocked their access to the crime scene and the evidence.
Sure.
How are you seeking justice for Marimar Martinez, the Montessori school teacher in Chicago who was shot 5 times by a Border Patrol agent who bragged about it on text? Or the family of Keith Porter, a father of 2 shot and killed by an armed ICE agent in LA? Or the family of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, shot and killed in Illinois minutes after he dropped his kids off at school? There's no sign of...
Not to mention Liam Ramos, who was used as bait to go after his dad and was taken away about 1,000 miles away to some sort of a facility within Texas, which has a measles outbreak, by the way, because of course they're not treating any of these people like humans. They are treating them as if they are animals.
Any movement at the Department of Justice. You even launched a criminal investigation into Renee Good's grieving widow. How sick is that? But it's even worse.
Like for what? Because they think they're like a domestic terrorist or something? It's just insane. What do we have here?
Justice into Trump's instrument of revenge. Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time. He tells you to go after James Comey, Letitia James, Lisa Cook, and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve Board, and members of...
Yeah, we do know that this is basically being used as a political revenge tour, specifically here by the President of the United States to basically use it as an arm of revenge for him. This has always been a political revenge tour. Genuinely, absolutely insane.
Congress, like Adam Schiff, Mark Kelly, Alyssa Slotkin, Chrissy Houlihan, Jason Crow, Chris DeLuzio, and Maggie Goodlander, to name a few, and you snap to it. You replace real prosecutors with counterfeit stooges who robotically do the president's bidding. Nothing in American history comes close to this complete corruption of the justice function and contamination of federal law enforcement. And the good news is many serious lawyers at DOJ, including some of your own original appointees, have refused your lawless orders. Danielle Sassoon, your original pick for acting U.S. Attorney Manhattan, resigned rather than follow your corrupt order to quash an indictment against Mayor Eric Adams as a political favor from Donald Trump. A Federalist Society member who clerked for Justice Scalia, U.S. Attorney Sassoon refused to participate in this blatantly corrupt scheme. Her top assistant, Hagen Scotton, an Iraqi war vet and 2-time two-time Bronze Star recipient who clerked for Chief Justice Roberts, and then Judge Kavanaugh promptly resigned too, writing to your office, quote, "I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me. You and the president nominated Eric Siebert, a 15-year career prosecutor, to be your U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia." But after 5 months of investigating the
yeah, all that thing specifically with Eric Siebert, and then they basically got rid of him, Siebert, when he said, like, there's literally nothing here on both James Comey and Letitia James. Going forward with this would be insane. The president fires him, replaces him with someone who has, like, literally zero prosecutorial experience and just made to look like a complete fucking clown.
James and James Comey, he found no evidence to justify criminal charges. So you forced him out. You replaced him with Lindsay Halligan, Trump's
Lindsay Halligan, that's who.
Case, who had zero prosecutorial experience and no qualifications. And then you were humiliated when a federal judge found that this corrupt appointment was blatantly unlawful and threw out Halligan's indictments entirely. And grand juries of American citizens have repeatedly rejected your vendettas. And baseless indictments brought by the hacks left at DOJ now, with 2 different grand juries in Virginia voting down indictments against Letitia James in a single week. And just yesterday, another grand jury shut down your vendetta factory by rejecting indictments against the 6 members of Congress.
Also, look at, like, the Pam Bondi. She's like trying to be, like, so fucking indignant and trying to hide the fact that she's definitely fucking mad about this. Like I said before, even MAGA, people within MAGA are already not very happy with Pam Bondi because they thought that she would be, like, an effective steward of, like, the long arm of revenge in the minds of these people to go after their political opponents. But again, she's just been, like, very, like, weak, ineffective, whiny as well. Very, very whiny, like most of the people within this administration. Because again, like, when it comes to all of this, like, there's no legal basis for any of the cases that the DOJ, generally speaking, brings up. Every single time something goes to the courts, the federal courts specifically, it, like, the vast majority of the time gets, like, struck down by a lot of fucking people, dude. Like, and they're just like, yeah, no. I think, like, the loss rate for some not for some reason, but, like, the loss rate for the Trump administration in terms of a lot of their lawsuits, it's like 80+%. It's really, really bad.
Who had spoken out to remind all service members that they have a duty to refuse illegal orders.
That's true. What's this?
You tried to get a grand jury to indict 6 members of Congress who are veterans of our armed forces on charges of seditious conspiracy simply for exercising their First Amendment rights.
That's what Pete Hegseth was also trying to push for as well, like Mark Kelly and a bunch of other people. They were trying to, like, oust them from the Senate. For what reason exactly? Because it says, like, listen, if you're given an unlawful order, you don't have to obey it. You can just, like, do that, like, just not obey it if you want to. That's, like, okay. Which is true.
I hope you will heed the wisdom and the constitutional patriotism of those grand jurors and not try it again by doubling down on that humiliation. As your best lawyer...
I don't know, it's kind of shitting on all these, like, dipshits. It's very, very funny. Confronted by a protest, you are a disgrace to the American people. That's true, she does protect pedophiles. Not false. Here we go. More stuff from Raskin.
Now, as ranking member, I asked the chairman to add a few extra rounds of questions today because we each have 5 hours of questions, not 5 minutes. But we're stuck with 5 minutes.
That's a lot of questions.
To give voice to America's victims and survivors and to demand answers about all the corruption and cover-ups that we see at DOJ right now. We've got just 1 round, so we ask you politely but firmly, Madam Attorney General, please do not waste 1 second of our precious time by evading questions, by changing the subject, or engaging in personal attacks against members of Congress. We saw your performance in the Senate, and
yeah, that's not gonna fucking happen, isn't it? Yeah, I can only assume what she probably did in the Senate. She probably also, like, soy raged, because, like, so far it seems like the strategy that Pam Bondi's taking is, like, trying to, like, aura farm through all of this. It's like, bro, you are not Gojo Satoru walking up to Hanami. And just, like, basically turning Hanami into a bunch of paste. Okay, you're not him. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're an incredibly whiny, duplicitous, incredibly weak, ineffective attorney general at carrying out the fucking president's will. And that's why you're probably, like, one of the weakest links in the Trump administration. It's her and Kash Patel. They are easily 2 of the weakest.
And we're not going to accept that. This isn't a game. In the Senate, you brought something with you called a burn book, a binder of smears to attack members personally for doing the people's work of oversight. Please set the burn book aside and answer our questions. And when you hear us reclaim our time, that means it's time for you to stop speaking. We only have 5 minutes, so when we reclaim our time, that means you stop. And if you don't, we will ask the chair to stop the clock and let you go on his time. The quality of justice in America depends on the character of our government. Please do your job and bring the Department of Justice back from the brink. The survivors seated behind you and the American people watching everywhere deserve...
Yeah, I don't think they really give much of a shit about that at all whatsoever. Let's see. Pam Bondi is trying to aura farm about all this stuff. We've fought through a non-stop flood of bad faith temporary restraining orders from liberal activist judges. No, it's because like all of the stuff that you guys keep bringing up has like no legal basis whatsoever, right? Crucial blows against terrorist organizations, illegally of course, and Antifa. What has the DOJ done to stop Antifa's actions? Like what do they do? It's so fucking stupid. Acknowledge the okay. Wait. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Epstein survivors who are here today. I'm a career prosecutor. Despite what the ranking member says, I have spent my entire career fighting for victims, and I will continue to do so. Well, then why didn't you prosecute any of the conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein during the time when you were, like, Attorney General of Florida? Hello? Well, why didn't you do any of that then? Oh, that's a little interesting. What's this?
All members of Congress, as you know, are invited to visit DOJ to see for yourselves. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Epstein survivors who are here today. I'm a career prosecutor.
Kind of has to.
And despite what the ranking member said, I have spent my entire career fighting for victims, and I will continue to do so. I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster. If you have any information to share with law enforcement.
But again, you've been like, they have shared information with law enforcement for like the past 20 years. Nothing fucking happened because of the sweetheart deal that Jim Acosta made with fucking Jeffrey Epstein. You yourself have also been AG of Florida and could have done any investigation in any of this, and you decided not to. So again, like, this is meaningless.
About anyone who has hurt you or abused you.
No, I'm sure you care about that.
Waiting to hear from you. I want you to know that any accusations of criminal wrongdoing will be taken seriously and investigated. The Department of Justice is committed to holding criminals accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
Just deflections. They can't address any of this stuff. Alright, what is this? Criminal Jayapal, to the survivors in the room, please stand. What's this?
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
Well, that certainly makes
members of Congress, as you know,
that certainly makes this previous statement right here be completely thrown out of the window. Wow, she's really bad at this, Pam Bondi, isn't she? Like, look, I'm a career prosecutor. I do this stuff all the time. Has anyone met with the DOJ currently? Everyone stands up and raises their hands saying that they didn't meet with the DOJ. Very, very funny.
Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand.
Oof. That is a fucking embarrassment there. Here, more from Jayapal.
The hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Because in the first initial releases of those 3 million files, they did a really, really bad job at redacting the victims' names. And mostly just redacted a bunch of the perpetrators. I think, like, I think at this point, it used to be 38,000 times Donald Trump and all of his, like, sort of, like, nicknames and shortenings of his names. It's been about 38,000 was, like, the initial number. With, like, the 3 million files that are out, his name is mentioned in there, like, about 1 million times. Which is genuinely fucking insane. Like, the fact that his name pops up a third of the time in the goddamn files that have been released so far. And who knows, because there's another 3 million files that are slated to be released because of the Epstein Transparency Act. And who knows just the ridiculous amount of files that these, like, or not even just files, like mentions is going to have, that Trump is going to have overall when all these files release. Like, this is just going to be a complete, like, this is going to be, like I've said before, the thing that unironically probably kills off the Trump administration, right? Because due to the fact that they were the ones who brought it up specifically. Like, we can talk about, obviously, the Biden DOJ, because this has been a thing that's been going on for the latter part of about 20 years at this point. It's been spanning throughout multiple administrations right now, but currently the buck currently stops right now with Pam Bondi. She's currently the one who could release all this stuff immediately, but she's not. She's refusing to do as such. And we can, like, obviously criticize the AGs under both Obama, Biden, and Trump 1, who didn't release any of the information and didn't do any of the sort of, like, investigation to all of that. But I think we know why this is the case, and it's because it would implicate Israel way too much. That's definitely why Biden didn't want to look into any of the Epstein file stuff and didn't have Merrick Garland looking into any of that stuff. Probably the same thing with Obama, and more than likely... Well, we know why Trump doesn't want to release anything on the Epstein files, because he, well, is heavily implicated in them.
Congresswoman, you sat before... Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a
Attorney General,
specific
yes, sir.
question
Attorney General,
that I would
respond to the
like
question.
you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your...
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like Merrick Garland definitely could have looked into this, but we know throughout there's tons of mentions of Israel and like the term goy constantly within the Epstein files, right? We know that is something that gets consistently mentioned in there over and over and over again. And for what purpose exactly? Because we all know that a lot of people within the Epstein files are all like pro-Zionist in general. Same with Jeffrey Epstein himself, right? And he wanted Ehud Barak to be a part of the board for fucking Palantir, for fuck's sake. Like, we all know that a lot of the connections that Epstein was able to bring built up specifically to the Russians and within more elites within the United States was helped facilitated by Mossad. We know this. It gets mentioned in the files itself. And it's one of those situations where it's just like, more than likely why Merrick Garland didn't investigate into anything is because of that relationship there. Because we know that Joe Biden is a genuine Zionist and will do anything to protect the interests of Israel, first and foremost. And basically, well, he will not go ahead with investigations into the Epstein files as a result of that.
Your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't
It is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Well, no, it's because you're not answering the question. Like, you decided to deflect. I mean, it makes sense that Jim Jordan, who is also a fucking abuser of university kids, is basically trying to also help deflect for fucking Pam Bondi, because it's just like, dog, she's not answering the question.
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I'm
Twice.
reclaiming
He
my
sat in
time, and
chair.
when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman is
I'm
reclaiming
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the time.
I mean, to a certain extent, this is all you are also engaging in theatrics, because you're currently being slated to be the, if I were to take a guess, the current fall girl for all of the like complete utter nonsense that is basically being covered up here by the current DOJ, which you are currently the main attorney for. So it's just like duh, like, okay, dude.
Time belongs to the gentle lady. The gentle lady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is
I'm not
interrupted.
going to get in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and let me
theatrics.
have my
The gentle lady from Washington controls the time. The gentle lady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive
We do be loving our massive cover-ups. More stuff. 3K. Jasmine Crockett. What is this? Unanimous consent to enter into the record. What is this? Oh, isn't this like something completely different? El Paso airspace reopened after FAA quickly rescinds 10-day flight restrictions. Wasn't there like some like weird miscommunication between DOD and the FAA in Texas? And like there was like a bunch of drones flying overhead or something? I'm not 100% certain what this is, but I mean, I guess it's just to show like more incompetence by this current DOJ, well, by the current administration, generally speaking. What's this?
Just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many
None so far.
perpetrators are you even investigating?
Which is the job of the GOJ.
First, You showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you can answer the
theatrics are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time
You're
belongs to
claiming my time.
The time
I
belongs.
think it's very
Claiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Claiming my
interesting.
time.
You can
When
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they
Claiming my time,
indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they indicted him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and
And
stop the
he
clock and
indicted-
restore time.
Okay, here we go with
Committee
these
will be in order.
theatrics.
Dude, you're the one who's starting with the fucking theatrics because you just don't want to answer the fucking goddamn question because you know you'd get implicated and make you look really, really bad. This is so stupid, dude.
Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I
Not a
said that
few more,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. You're trying to engage with me with a bunch of theatrics when we know exactly that Pam Bondi has been doing fucking cover-ups for the president and has basically brought no indictments to anybody. Like, we know that she's responsible for fucking cover-ups. Like, she's helping the president. Same with the FBI. They are all in on the sort of cover-up of the Epstein files. We know this specifically. It's so silly, dude. What is this? Most transparent president in history, yet the Epstein files are still not released.
The time is yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment.
Yeah, because he did a bunch of impeachable offenses when he was trying to get dirt on Hillary Clinton through... not Hillary Clinton, through on Joe Biden through Burisma by holding up Ukraine aid. Yeah, that is an impeachable offense. You cannot do that because that funding was already earmarked. Obviously, it passed in the House, didn't go through the Senate. And the first initial time he was impeached, it wasn't the Russiagate stuff that got him initially impeached. I always forget the first time. I remember the second time because that was the second time he got impeached. But the first time was, I believe it was pertaining to the Capitol. No, wasn't the Capitol riot stuff. That was a different sort of set of lawsuits that he was going through because obviously what he did was illegal. I think it was for something else. I don't remember 100% exactly. I think it might have been for the Russiagate stuff, but I could be completely wrong about that. But yeah, he got fucking indicted twice by the House because it passed through the House twice. Because guess what? He did blatantly fucking illegal shit. And he's obviously not the most transparent president in the nation's history at all whatsoever. If he was, he would have released the Epstein files like he said he would have on day one, but he didn't do it. I wonder why.
Impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016. Have you apologized to President?
Well, no, he said, well, that's just a lie. Russiagate founded that Paul Manafort, who was the Trump campaign sort of, and people got indicted for this. Like Michael Cohen got indicted, same with Paul Manafort. They got indicted for colluding with the Russians to try to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. Now, Trump himself didn't do any of that, but his campaign head did, and he got arrested for it.
President Trump, have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president.
Complains about theatrics, engages in theatrics constantly herself.
And I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do...
I'm sure.
All the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents.
Yeah, after a law had to be passed to force you guys to do it when you said that you were going to do it from the beginning. And then he got cold feet. You yourself were about to release them. Bottom of the 9th inning, you decided actually we're not going to release them. Like, what the fuck what are you talking about? This is a blatant lie. A law had to be passed to force you guys to do it. And still, Mike Johnson in the House did everything possible to disrupt the discharge petition. Like, okay, dude, nice meme.
For 3 million, and Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the...
Yeah, but you could have released those documents at any point in time. You said you had them, you were about to release them, and you didn't do it. Because all of a sudden you're just like, the boss is telling me to not release the files because it makes the boss look too bad, so I can't be releasing no files anymore. It's just like, okay, dude, nice meme.
The most transparent president in the nation's history.
Yeah, I'm sure.
None of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great...
bro, what the... Why are you bringing up the Dow right now? Like, what the fuck does that have to do? Like, imagine, like, I don't know. She, like, soys out about the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. Like, you can tell that there's nothing. She's got nothing. They got her by the fucking balls, and she has to, like, bring up the Dow. Yeah, the greatest way of showing economic success for average human beings. Yeah, they're... I don't know, their fucking 401ks, the stocks that they definitely don't fucking own or something. Yeah, dude, like, why the fuck would you bring up that in particular? That's nonsensical. Like, literally, I think, like, the fact that the indicator for economic success within the United States of America is tied to essentially what is a gambling machine is incredibly fucking stupid. It should be completely and utterly decoupled. Like, 401k should not have anything to do with the fucking stock market. It's completely nonsensical. But, like, yeah, dude, like, the Dow being up to 50,000 points is the main reason why the president of the United States is one of the most transparent in the nation's history. Even though you guys are currently covering up the fucking Epstein files. Like, okay, dude, that's very, very, very interesting that you bring that up.
Stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P...
Very, very fucking strange, right? The same fucking clip talking about the Dow, like, I have no idea, bro. It's so fucking silly and obnoxious that she's, like, bringing these up and specifically to try to, I don't know, like, aura farm through it or something.
50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000.
Also, she's making herself sound really pathetic while doing this. Like, she's like her voice is breaking down. She's like, ah, fuck, I have to like try to throw some bullshit at the fucking wall in order to, like, I don't know, come up with an excuse for the fact that I'm basically complicit in covering up or helping to cover up one of the biggest fucking pedo scandals in the nation's history. It's just like, how about the Dow? How about, like, the, I don't know, like, the slight economic success that the president has, all due to the fucking AI bubble? Like, okay, bro, nice beam.
NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking...
Great economic indicators to say that the economy is very successful. I mean, we'll probably take a look at the job revision stuff, but it is really, really bad. The job the revisions that have happened have slated to reach about like 1 million like jobs have been lost in I think it was like January of 2026 alone. Genuinely insane.
Talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, what does that have to do with anything?
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas.
The Dow is...
Yeah, dude, the Dow. Oh, apparently the Dow is also down right now. That's really, really funny. I find it interesting that she keeps going after Donald Trump. What is this?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history, and if it could maintain...
I have to keep sucking President Trump off at all fucking costs. Like, why are you bringing that up in particular? What the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you say that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the reason why people are bringing up the president of the United States of America is because he is mentioned with the Epstein files through, like, I don't know, Trump, Donald, Don, and other associated names about 1 million times. I think it makes a lot of sense that people are going to keep bringing up Trump in particular or something. Like, okay, dude.
Maintain their composure. This isn't a circus. This is a hearing. I find it interesting.
You're making this into a circus, buddy.
She keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? And
what does that matter?
Mr. Chairman, regular order, please.
She
Regular
posted
order.
nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
Yet now all of a sudden...
Because that wasn't really the focus of the Biden administration. Again, like, we can talk about specifically, like, yeah, should Merrick Garland and the DOJ under Biden gone after Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, absolutely. But the reason why he didn't do that is because of Israel. That's literally the main reasoning for as to why he didn't do any of that stuff.
Committee will be in order. There was no question on the Attorney General. She doesn't just get to...
Committee will be in order.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Committee will be in order.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Lady can state her point of order.
When a witness attacks...
Not a valid point of order. You got to state...
She hasn't completed her point of order yet. Please let her speak, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some regular order here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule.
I am trying to make a point of order that the witness,
And what rule are you referring to?
without responding to a question, has attacked...
Of course, like, Jim Jordan is on the side of this the dumbass fucking Barbie, because again, Jim Jordan also has abused university kids as well. So listen, pedophiles of a feather like to flock together.
Me personally, I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and instead is attacking
That is not even close
members
to
of
the point of order. The gentleman from Wisconsin.
That's true. That's true. Cope and seed about it. Let's see. Yeah, she is definitely fucking having a meltdown. What is this?
When they killed Mr. Prete, and Miss Good, that was an execution, and
It's
you
true.
did not investigate it. And you tried to investigate her, Miss Good's widow, and you tried to investigate Mr. Prete. They were executed, like Christy Nome executed her dog. And that was wrong. And you should investigate those people, and you should investigate anybody that uses a weapon, in federal official or not, for...
You know, there was an attempt. Listen, a little bit of oral loss, but whatever. Cool. Jordan, is Mr. Brennan going to be indicted? We would like to know if Mr. Brennan will be indicted. You just asked the president. What's this?
Excuse me, like to know if Mr. Brennan's going to be
Like John Brennan, I guess?
What I can confirm is that we have received a referral from you, Chairman Jordan, to investigate John Brennan. His attorneys have made
Of
some
course.
public statements, but the department is still bound, of course, by our longstanding policy of not discussing.
Let me guess, another like dumbass fucking stupid suit that's going to go nowhere because, of course, all these guys do this for like political reasons. Okay, what's this?
General Bondi, it's been reported that there were at one point 1,000 personnel assigned to the task of identifying and scrubbing Donald Trump's name from the Epstein files. Were those reports?
I believe like the 96% of the instances of Donald Trump, it's a statistic like this, have been basically illegally redacted from the fucking Epstein files.
Accurate?
I believe his name has appeared countless times in the documents
how
that
many
have
people were
been released.
assigned?
If I could finish, I'm going to read you the stats.
Yeah, she's not going to answer the question, right? What's this?
Not answering the question. You do a Jekyll and Hyde kind of routine around here.
That's true.
And I just want you to answer my questions.
What does
I mean,
Jekyll and Hyde mean? Can you
Well, it
explain
means
that?
you're nice.
I mean, it should be very obvious. You're very nice with the fucking Republicans, but then, like, if you're asked a question by the Democrats, then you basically start crashing out. That's what that means, okay?
You this, ma'am. We have the Epstein victim survivors here today. Representative Jayapal asked a simple question. If you would be so kind and honorable as to turn around and face them and apologize to them for outing them.
She can't.
I mean, how many lives have been derailed because your department was either sloppy and incompetent or willfully trying to intimidate and punish these ladies
Your time is
coming
up.
forward?
Dude, this is, like, it's fucking pathetic, bro. Like, she's constantly trying to, like, aura farm despite the fact that she is definitely fucking goddamn guilty. And definitely is just a fucking unlikable fucking piece of shit. And it's just like, I'm just gonna, like, keep crashing out. I'm gonna be as unlikable as possible, and I'm only going to polarize more and more people. I really do think the theory of her just essentially being the main fall guy for the Trump administration, because she is the weakest link. Even people within I think there was, like, literally a clip of even Asmongold saying, like Trump should definitely get rid of her. But I think Asmongold is more so saying that because he's a bit of a fucking misogynist and he just hates women, but you know, that's a different story in of itself. Not because of, like, Pam Bondi genuinely being incredibly fucking incompetent and just a very, very weak sort of, like, DOJ sort of head, or rather DOJ attorney. Because in reality, the only reason why she's doing this stuff is because, again, she's the main fucking fall guy, and it's pretty, it just looks really, really bad, dude. What's this? DOJ initially released the list of 32 survivors. Here, Ted Lieu. There was a lot of, from what I recall, this was particularly an explosive exchange.
That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." these two photos...
That's a lie, by the way.
These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and stepped before...
I agree with you.
You twice.
I've been claiming time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to...
Yeah, you currently are the one with the ball right now. Again, every time these dumbasses keep mentioning, like, Merrick Garland, it's a fucking deflection. It's just like, yeah, should he have done something about this? Obviously, but Biden probably didn't want to do that because of a lot of the ties that in mentions of Israel specifically. That's why. We know that Joe Biden, arch fucking Zionist, would want rather protect the fucking interests of Israel, right? Absolutely. We know this, right? And that's why he more than likely didn't have Merrick Garland look into the fucking Epstein files, even though he absolutely should have, but he didn't. So here we are. And we all know specifically that the main reasoning for as to why the current, like, other attorney generals that were also in power was because of Trump definitely didn't want Bill Barr to look into that stuff. Jim Acosta was the main guy appointed as fucking labor secretary by Trump in the Department of Labor, or Treasury Secretary. It's either Treasury Secretary or Labor Secretary. It's one of the two. I don't remember 100% exactly. Was also the guy who gave Jeffrey Epstein his fucking sweetheart deal when he got initially indicted. So, like, yeah, we can, like, deflect all fucking day, but currently the buck stops with you. You're the current AG, dude.
Change things to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer that?
I want to move on to another
question. Can I answer your question about protecting?
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss.
I mean, probably won't answer the question. The Dow stuff here. More Ted Lieu.
Not in hell. So should the men who patronize this operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
It's true.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question.
You're allowed to.
I did not ask a question.
Why are you?
He does.
Why are you letting Pam? Because obviously Jim Jordan's okay with pedophilia, right? He likes the fact that Donald Trump is a pedophile like himself. Again, Jim Jordan has been basically credibly accused of helping cover up. I think it was a wrestling scandal at Ohio State University, right? Covering up the abuses of professors to the university kids on the wrestling team of OSU, I believe. We know about this, right? And obviously he's just gonna let Pam Bondi just like virtue signal and just talk about a bunch of random bullshit and deflect away from the fact that she's an incredibly ineffective AG. It's like, oh yeah, crime in California. It's like, why the fuck are you mentioning crime in fucking California? That shit's been going down. It's at historic fucking lows in all of the major cities. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That is nonsense.
Not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his state.
She can't just add lip stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order.
This is pretty pathetic, dude.
Back his time. I think our next witness will be more than happy to let.
Yeah, of course. Jim Jordan is obviously in on this because, again, he doesn't really give. Like, he really just does not care at all about any of this stuff. Won't even look at the Epstein file survivors or acknowledge their presence. He won't. She won't. Yeah, we've seen this already because, again, she's just a piece of shit. 44K. Jesus Christ. What is this? Ooh, Thomas Massie, right? Thomas Massie has been, again, one of the main guys pushing forward with the Epstein files along with Ro Khanna. Why? Mostly because he kind of just, more than likely, if I were to take a guess, he got snubbed alongside Marjorie Taylor Greene. Both of them, I think, wanted to be more a part of Trump's inner circle and had higher political ambitions, but Donald Trump said no to both of them. We know that this is definitely the case for Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is why she started becoming, like, quote-unquote, more hostile to Trump, and liberals were trying to rehabilitate her. That's a mistake. Do not rehabilitate fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is still incredibly far-right, and mostly just upset specifically about the fact that Trump was unwilling to go even further to the right, but I digress. Libs are fucking dumbasses very, very often. The thing with, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is we know that she was going on basically a revenge tour to just like basically just take out anyone among in the Trump administration, just take them down with her. And it was one of those things where it's just like, dude, like, don't try to rehabilitate her fucking image. You really should not be doing that, because again, it's just really, really bad for you to be doing that, because she's still very, very far right, further to the right, more than likely, of Donald Trump, and she's just upset about the fact that Trump's just not as far right as she thinks that he was. And Thomas Massie's just, well, he said that he wanted to retire, so he's just saying, fuck it, YOLO swag, I'm not going to get any further in terms of politics, so I'm going to leave. I've gotten what I wanted out of this. We're going to release the Epstein files instead.
FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you
bigger than Watergate.
When I don't answer a question
this
the way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
He's just correct. He's right. Right? Like, there's been a 2007 fucking cover-up deal between Jim Acosta, and also that happened during Bush, obviously. Obviously, the AG under Obama never investigated into any of that stuff. Jim Acosta was also AG of Florida at the time. Investigated fucking nothing. Got appointed in Trump's first term. Again, still covered up. Bill Barr obviously was never going to investigate any of this stuff because Donald Trump is directly fucking implicated. And now there's Merrick Garland. Should Merrick Garland have gone in on the Epstein files, use that as a cudgel against Trump? Absolutely. Why didn't he do it? Like I said before, because Israel is also heavily implicated within the fucking Epstein files. A lot of fucking connections through Mossad specifically have been mentioned throughout the Epstein files. I mean, like, literally, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad is basically one of the higher ups, not of Mossad, but above Mossad. He is like some super top secret, like tippity top of Israeli fucking international intelligence. One of those guys. Like, if we're talking about, like, quote unquote the deep state, that dude is as deep state as it gets. And that dude was the dad of Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, it's crazy. Unironically, it's insane. So, yeah, no wonder Joe Biden didn't have Merrick Garland look into any of this stuff, because he's a Zionist and he's just a complete bitch to fucking Israel.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know, at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because
Lex Wessner was he was very, very much so, like, in tune with all the stuff of Jeffrey Epstein, right? That's like, Les Wexner, I believe, was the first guy who gave Jeffrey Epstein the opportunity to be able to start fucking making money, right? Like, unironically, because before this, he was like a social studies substitute teacher, right? Yeah, he was not born with money whatsoever. He was not born with billions, right? He was like just some random fucking dude. But Lexner was the guy who helped give Jeffrey Epstein his initial start.
Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And FBI.
She's not going to answer the question because she won't. What is this? You voted against the ban, hypocrite.
He answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
Why the fuck does that matter? Like, did Jeffrey Epstein make a bunch of fucking deep fake AI porn or something? Like, what is the point of bringing this up? Obviously, that's like a bad vote. I believe this is the what's the name of the act? It's actually a good act, right? That bans all the deepfake AI porn stuff, making it a federal crime. Good act. Obviously, I don't disagree with it whatsoever. But, like, why are we bringing this up in particular, right? Not that I'm a fan of Thomas Massie, but, like, this just doesn't make any fucking sense. We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein again. She's like just trying to deflect.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Some random heckler saying she didn't answer the question because she didn't answer the question.
could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering.
The answer.
It's very, very funny, dude. Attorney General allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any questions.
The General Lady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
Yeah, but she didn't answer the fucking actual question. That's fucking stupid, but whatever. Gotta go with all that stupid bullshit. Oh, yeah, okay, this is also the thing that's also happening. Trump is suing the IRS for $10 billion. So he's just suing the American taxpayers for what exactly? I don't know, because he's mad about the fact that he can't further cheat on his taxes. This, lawsuit is it's very, very strange. I have no idea why the fuck he's suing the IRS, but what is this?
The good congressman. Now, I want to turn back to the Epstein survivors, because President Trump may have been a little bit embarrassed by the release of those tax returns. How much do you think the claims of...
Oh, that's why he's suing the IRS. Yeah, because he had to fucking have his tax returns released in the Epstein files because they were in there as well. Oof. Even though he said that he never, he's been constantly said, ever since 2016 to release his fucking tax returns. He never released them, which is, again, against the law, but whatever. Because he's just I'm going through an audit. I'm still going through an audit about all of this. It's an excuse. Obviously, he just doesn't want to release them. That's fairly obvious. But in reality, he knows that he's, probably also a dodging cheat, like all these other fucking billionaire dipshits, and just doesn't want to be held accountable for it.
These survivors are worth. As the good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out, there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released, and yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with... You don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr.
Why are you bringing up Trump derangement syndrome? Are you fucking insane? This is obviously going to be about Donald Trump. He's the second most mentioned dude in the Epstein files. His name is mentioned 1 million times plus. Why the fuck are you bringing this up? Because he's an obvious fucking criminal. So yeah, it makes sense that they're going to keep mentioning Trump over and over again because his names are all over the files, you stupid bitch. This is such a pathetic attempt to try to aura farm through all of this, and it comes off as incredibly bitchy, pathetic, and super fucking whiny. This is so weak, dude.
Chairman, I'd like my time restored. I'd like my time restored.
In your district. In your district, and you don't even know about it, about keeping children safe from online predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. The gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this.
Yes, it's very, very pathetic. What is this?
Create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them. The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Gentle lady can respond. She wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about
it. I mean, that is unironically fucking true. Yeah, this dumbass would not do shit about it. I don't know, again, it's a pathetic attempt to try to bring it up to deflect from the fact that she can't answer fucking goddamn any questions. She is, mad and just crashing out over all of this. This is really bad. Oh man, you have Trump derangement syndrome. How dare you, ask questions about Donald Trump when talking about all this stuff in terms of the Epstein files. Dude, of course they're gonna fucking ask about Donald Trump specifically because, again, his name is mentioned there 1 million times, bro. What is this? When a member of Congress asks how many people work for a national cryptocurrency enforcement team, the Attorney General refuses to answer it. Yeah. We all know about Trump's meme coin basically just being used in order to just be Yeah, dude. I'm just going to raise my net worth by the most amount by any other fucking goddamn president has ever done in what, like, U.S. fucking history. So again, I wonder why. Because again, like for Donald Trump, it's always been a grift inherently, and he always wanted to use the presidency to just make a bunch of money.
Asked, Mr. Chairman, are not trick questions. They're not gotcha questions. They're actually basic questions about how the Department of Justice functions and the unwillingness of this Attorney General to answer them in good faith. When a member of Congress asks how many people work at the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team and the Attorney General refuses to answer it, it is not a coincidence.
Probably not a lot.
It's because she eliminated the team. Why? Because her boss, the President of the United States, is making money hand over fist, $1.4 billion over the course of the last year through crypto.
Yeah, and I believe there was I don't remember the name of the guy, but he was the CEO of Binance, or Binance rather. I believe has a holding of about 80% of Trump's stablecoin. Basically is a huge fucking fraudster, a scammer, and guess what? He was convicted for being a huge fraudster and scammer in terms of crypto. And what did the President of the United States do? Fucking pardon that guy.
Currency holdings. I think what is happening at the Department of Justice is a disgrace, Mr. Chairman, and I would urge you to gain control of this hearing. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah, oof. Like, we all know why. Like, I mean, these guys, they just want to fucking cover up for crime. It's all about the criminality with these dudes. Like, honestly. I mean, again, literally, it's like 5 hours of fucking testimony. We could spend all fucking day looking over all this shit. We're just gonna go through the bigger stuff. What's this? Wow, 48K likes. Jesus Christ.
The same level of facility. I don't know why, but you know, instead of talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who hopefully will die in prison,
I mean, she got transferred over to like a lighter prison, like a one that's run by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, which is not equipped to handle someone with her particular charges of sexual abuse of minors. And she got transferred over there by the behest of the president because that prison is run specifically by the Federal Prison Bureau, and it gives Trump more control over her ability to have movement, right? She's allowed to go out. She got a fucking puppy, for fuck's sake. Because basically they just want to do everything possible in order to just appease her so then she doesn't, like, rat anyone out. Just to basically be like, we need to make sure that everyone stays quiet and keep up with the cover-up. That's what we gotta do, folks. And they're obviously doing a really, really bad job at it. And I think, like, at this point, like, Ghislaine Maxwell herself said that she is basically unwilling to speak to anybody and unwilling to testify in front of Congress unless she gets a pardon, right? Should be fairly obvious why. She gets the pardon, all of the charges are going to be dropped against her. The problem with her getting a pardon is that would make Trump look really, really bad, and all of these sort of like theories about him just like covering up the Epstein files will pretty much just be confirmed. It's just like, well, Ghislaine Maxwell's like, we know she's pretty much the right-hand gal of Jeffrey Epstein. Trump just pardoning her just is going to make him look worse. So again, it's just like, it's not going to fucking happen. So we're probably never going to get Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony. Recently, she had a deposition where she just pleaded the fifth the whole time. So, you know, obviously you're allowed to do that constitutionally speaking, but it does make you look inherently fucking suspicious. It's not a great look. But again, like all these people are supposed to testify. They're not going to do it because they're more interested in protecting the president.
I have talking about Irina Zarutska.
I have a couple of...
Again, like, who the fuck cares about Irina Zarutska? Obviously, what happened to her was tragic. It was bad. And a byproduct and an issue specifically with a lot of recidivism rates within the American prison system. But that's a completely different story. We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Right on a subway.
Right, and I absolutely...
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're
here to testify. That's kind of the point,
That's
dumbass.
What the whole point of this endeavor is. So, of course, we're moving back to you. It is all about you.
That's a good way. It's like a handling just like this a pathetic, petulant fucking goddamn child. Because again, it's pathetic, man. It's so fucking stupid. What else? Like, it's just weird, dude. More deflection about Irina Zarutska. Should President Trump pardon or commute Ghislaine Maxwell? Should she be released from prison?
in that committee hearing, and her lawyer dangled the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison? Yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about
when
what
it
should
agrees
happen.
with you. But you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk about
I talk about her
murdered
all
by
the
a
time,
violent crime.
but
What, this doesn't fucking matter. Why are you bringing up Irina again? There's just no relevance to what's going on here. It's stupid. Again, like a pathetic attempt to just get more fucking aura farming dunks on Democrats to make them look like the fucking bad guys. It's like literally the point of all this. It's so stupid.
I am not here to testify before Congress. You are. That is your job today.
You are
That's what you're getting
obsessed with attacks.
So I want you to know that
It's very
your
pathetic,
own,
dude.
DOJ employee, he's recently been demoted and had some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I'm not going to speculate, and you couldn't even identify properly. That's why you don't want to talk about Irina.
I mean, that's like, isn't this dude a part of your fucking goddamn, like, team or something? Like, you should probably know about that stuff. Like, do you communicate with one another or something? Like, that's a very strange dude.
Irina Zarutska. You couldn't properly identify her relative.
I absolutely
It's embarrassing.
have been, and her family, by the way, appreciates all of the condolences, all of the help, everything that our law enforcement in North Carolina has been doing to help her family. Her family feels well treated. Thank you, and I yield back.
Ms. Elliott yields back.
I don't know. It's a very pathetic attempt again by Pam Bondi to just be like, you know, you need to think about Irina Zarutska, okay? Very, very important to constantly think about her. Again, it's a fucking deflection. What is this?
Who is Chris Malin?
Was the president aware? Please stop talking. It is not your time to ask questions. It is not your time. I'm reclaiming my time, Mr. Chair.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Vermont.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce?
And we know that Howard Lutnick, basically has appeared a bunch of times within the Epstein files. Remember that one dumbass interview he gave saying, like, my wife, we talked with him, like, once, and then we got away from that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. This was in 2005. He has emails and correspondence with him saying he's going to go to the island in 2015, or 2012, rather. Yikes. Nutlick. I guess you actually... I guess technically speaking, he's not interacting with Jeffrey Epstein in his house anymore, but he'd rather go to one of the islands instead.
Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to...
Not answering the question doesn't matter.
In fact, did know about his ties because he was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Of Jeffrey Epstein.
For goodness sakes, this is pathetic. This is pathetic, Mr. Chair.
Will be in order.
I am not asking trick questions here. The American people have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration.
This is genuinely embarrassing, I think, really, by, honestly, by Pam Bondi. Like, yeah, you're currently fucking testifying in front of the House Oversight Committee. You're supposed to answer the fucking goddamn questions. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I guess, again, like I've been saying before, and I'm going to keep reiterating this point, I think, over and over and over again. She's the fucking designated fall lady because they know, and that everyone within the sort of MAGA coalition, the fraying, well, I'm not even going to say that it's fraying and fraught. Honestly, it's dead. Like, MAGA is pretty much an effectively dead administration partially because of this dumbass that's currently in power right now, doing an incredibly ineffective job at trying to cover up the actions of the Trump administration. Not to also mention the all of the like instances and like policies that are trying to be constantly pursued by the Trump administration have just been incredibly fucking pathetic. It's just been ineffective. It hasn't worked. The American people, broadly speaking, like disapprove of Trump's actions on like every single policy, even on fucking immigration. He's been a complete fucking disaster, and none of it is fucking working, and they can't fucking deal with it. Like, listen, like I've said before, that fucking lame duck is fucking quacking.
Know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell.
That's funny. That's really, really funny. I mean, given how incredibly weak Pam Bondi generally has been, I don't think you could really tell any difference if she was Attorney General or not, because God, she's been extremely fucking pathetic.
By 2008, we knew that Epstein was a convicted sexual abuser. And we now know that
Jim Acosta as well.
went to Epstein's Island in 2012. How was that not a deal breaker for the president? And why aren't you asking questions of the Commerce Secretary about what he saw when he was at the island, which he lied about not ever going to? Why are you not asking these questions? And I know the answers to...
Well, she's not gonna fucking answer any of this stuff. She didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about fucking Jeffrey Epstein. Why, again, the fucking deflections. I don't care about the dumbass deflections. It's always the same deflections. Every single time. 20 seconds, Garcia, let's hear the opposition research. That's right, he's not running for office again. Because I don't know why you're not running for office again. Okay, what?
May I have 20 seconds, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Let's hear the opposition research.
Thank you. That's absolutely right. That they're not running for, he's not running for office again because, well, I don't know why you're not running for office again.
Nice opposition research you have there, Pam Bondi. You're not running for office again. I don't know why, but I just know you're not. It's like, okay, bro, nice meme.
But after the filing deadline, you publicly announced you would not run when your chief of staff, Patty Garcia, announced and took your seat.
That's a state matter. That isn't a federal matter. You should investigate crimes. You should investigate violations of the law.
The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas.
And a little flexibility.
Okay, that was extremely fucking pathetic. Because, like, by the way, this is something that consistently fucking happens, like, all the time with the Trump administration. If they get caught in their lies or whatever, they try to just go for dunkery-doos and try to make clips out of all this. But here's the thing. All these clips that are coming, and they're, like, Asin has been posting a lot of clips. So with all the, like, political junkie wonk dudes have been posting lots and lots of clips about this. Like, this is just bad by Pam Bondi. Like, this is a genuine fucking embarrassment here on display. And it's just like, you know, they keep trying to do, like, literally everything possible to try to aura farm their way through this, and it's just like a complete fucking aura loss. Like, what is this? Like, more shit here by Pam Bondi? I don't know, like, trying to, like, bitch mode and complain?
Thank you, Chairman. Attorney General Bondi, glad you finally made it here after hiding for 4 months from this committee. I understand why you're hiding from us.
Chairman?
You're one of the worst attorney generals in our history and an instrument of Donald Trump's lawless authoritarian agenda, and I'm glad the American people are seeing who you are, how you act, and the lack of good values. You weaponize the Department of Justice to target immigrants, working families, and anyone that Trump deems an enemy of the state, all to protect real powerful criminals, including in your administration. Our Democratic colleagues have focused on your cover-up of the Epstein files and your passion for protecting pedophiles and child traffickers. That alone is grounds for impeachment, but there's so much more to your corrupt tenure as Attorney General. You directed prosecutors to investigate elected officials in welcoming jurisdictions, and you got thrown out of court when you sued Chicago, Cook County, and Illinois. You directed prosecutors to prioritize low-level immigration cases while gutting enforcement against corporate criminals and public corruption. You revived draconian law of 1798, which should be repealed to illegally send...
Yeah, I mean, you are very, very fucking corrupt, Pam Bondi. Like, yeah, you should be... I think that may be something you need to have mentioned to you over and over again.
People to a torture prison in El Salvador. You fired over 100 immigration judges, including the assistant chief immigration judge in Chicago, without cause, and installed unqualified military judges whom you instructed to deny asylum in violation of the law. You prosecute the president's enemies like Jim Comey and Tish James while giving impunity to federal agents who are murdering and brutalizing and terrorizing constituents, including in Chicagoland, in my neighborhood. I saw it last year firsthand. You and Cash Patel covered up the murder of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in my district by ICE agents. You tried to investigate Renee Good instead of the ICE agent who murdered her, and you tried to cover up the murder of Alex Peretti by CBP agents. You bring fake charges against protesters like...
And here's the thing, like, those cover-ups have been complete failures for the DOJ because everyone's got a camera on them because everyone's got a fucking smartphone. Going to be really difficult to cover up stuff like that in particular. Like, obviously this would have been way easier back during in like the 80s or the 90s when no one had like cameras on them all the fucking goddamn time. But now everyone's got a camera. Everyone can record and just see like what the fuck is up and going on. Like, it's so obvious what happened to Renee Nicole Good and Alex Peretti. They got fucking killed by these impetuous like wannabe pillagers, rapists, and morons in fucking ICE. They got killed, like, unironically, and people are supposed to, like, sit there and believe, like, yeah, dude, totally, like, we're totally the main guys who are going to cover up all this. We're just gonna blame Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy for being domestic terrorists. It's like, dog, it's not gonna fucking work, bro. Like, you're making yourself look ridiculous. Everyone saw with their own two eyes what happened. This is just a lie.
Rob 6 and Marimar Martinez, whom your administration labeled a domestic terrorist. This is the Montessori teacher who lives in my district, while protecting thugs who terrorizes and DHS authority. That's what you do. Protect and enable the criminals who are plundering our society and destroying what's left of democracy and the rule of law. Epstein accomplices, mass DHS thugs, corporate criminals, Tom Homan, Eric Adams, insurrectionists, the list goes on. And you talk about...
Yeah, we all know, like, complete fucking bullshit here. What is this? By Jared Moskowitz.
Because I'm curious, now Madam Attorney General, I have like 25 seconds left. So, because I'm curious, and I'd like to see you flip to the Jared Moskowitz section of the binder. I'm interested to see what staff provided on the oppo on me, and because we're in the Olympics, I'm gonna give it a grade. I just want to see how good it is. So give me your best one.
So first of all, nothing is funny about mocking the Bible and holding up a Trump Bible. That's what you did. You made a joke, and I find offense to that. That's all I have to say.
I want it from the burn book. Shame. I want it from the burn book. Which is the best one? What you got?
They're just clowning on her. I mean, I do think that's actually a pretty decent way to just treat Pam Bondi. It's just fucking clown on her. She's very, very fucking silly. Ooh, now we're talking about the Phase 1 release of the Epstein files.
Before Trump, we didn't know the word transparency, apparently. It's been 12 months since you gave Republican influencers Part 1 of the Epstein files. You said...
Which was completely fucking redacted, by the way.
The list was on your desk. Then a memo came out and said that there was no list. Phase 2 of the binders never happened.
It's true.
The President of the United States says the Epstein thing is a hoax. He blasts his own base for wanting the release of the files. He blamed Barack Obama.
He made like AI memes as well of Barack Obama of him getting arrested.
For a long time. And I'll always be appreciative for your assistance when you were Attorney General in Florida after the shooting at my high school at Marjory Stoneman Douglas in my hometown of Parkland when we passed a bipartisan bill, the Marjory Stoneman Douglas School Safety Act, which was the largest policy response to a school shooting in American history. Your department also prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law a constituent of mine and former felon that had plans to kill me when he was picked up by law enforcement after he was target practicing in his backyard with 2 rifles, a scope, a silencer, 3,000 rounds of ammunition, and an anti-Semitic manifesto. My name was the only name on the target list, and my kids found out about this from their friends at school. So thank you. However, the most transparent administration in American history. Before Trump, we didn't know the word transparency, apparently. It's been 12 months since you gave Republican influencers Part 1 of the Epstein files. You said the list was on your desk. Then a memo came out and said that there was no list. Phase 2 of the binders never happened. The President of the United States says the Epstein thing is a hoax. He blasts his own base for wanting the release of the files. He blamed Barack Obama. Republicans voted against the release of the files in the Rules Committee. Then they refused to even return to the Rules Committee until they could be protected from future votes on the release. Speaker Johnson sent Congress home a day early before break. They sent the Deputy Attorney General to meet with Maxwell. She said something favorable about the President.
By the way, this is mostly the main reasonings for us why the discharge petition ended up happening, because basically everyone was whipped up on the Republican side. Well, almost everyone was whipped up on the Republican side to basically refuse the release of the fucking Epstein files, but a bunch of women in the Republican, and the ones that you would expect the least to go along with both Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna to pass the discharge petition. Obviously, the Democrats are all voted alongside, like, yeah, absolutely, release the Epstein files, make this guy look really, really fucking bad. But Lauren Boebert, who, again, more than likely just had probably a bone to pick with the president, considering the fact that the president unironically vetoed, like, beneficial legislation for water safety in the southeastern parts or southwestern parts of Colorado. So, again, an actual good piece of legislation vetoed by the president, which probably pissed her off. Obviously, Marjorie Taylor Greene went along with this for her own reasons because she got actively snubbed by the president. And Nancy Mace, who I'm most surprised by, and I'm surprised that they went after Lauren Boebert to try to, like, make her flip, but not Nancy Mace, who seemed like the one who would be most likely to flip. I don't really know. I guess she just hates misogyny or something. Who knows? But, like, those are the guys they were all went along with the discharge petition after, like, unironically, and I mean unironically, the Trump House and all of the fucking Republicans did literally everything possible to try to fucking cover this shit up and try to prevent the release of those Epstein files, which, again, Pam Bondi could have done at any point in time, but she didn't at the behest of the president.
that miraculously she gets transferred to a minimum security facility. No one can explain why. Miraculously, the leaks to the Wall Street Journal stop. We come back from break. We have the Massie discharge petition. Republicans drop a rule, a non-binding resolution trying to kill the Massie discharge petition. The White House says passing the Massie discharge petition is a hostile act. Trying to stop the necessary 218 signatures, according to Republican members that signed it, the White House brought them into the Situation Room. You know, the place where the president goes for time of war. Promising things like appropriations or maybe even to primary them. People in the room say you were there. It didn't work. We get the 218 signatures. We eventually passed the Massie petition. You guys didn't release the files. You were forced by Congress. Every member of the House except one and the entire Senate. The reason the president signed it is because it was a veto-proof majority. We can't agree on anything, and yet the entire House but one member and the whole Senate forced the administration to release the files. Sure. Under oath said to Senator Kennedy, the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. We know.
Obviously, that's a lie.
Now that's not true. According to documents, Epstein had a worldwide sex trafficking ring. Girls from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia, Paris, modeling agencies sending him girls. He even had a relationship with a summer camp where he groomed girls at a picnic table. Ghislaine Maxwell says 29 Epstein associates cut secret DOJ deals. Turns out there is a list. 6 names readily available if you unredact them. Co-conspirators named, but we got them when you unredact them. Maxwell recently tells a House Oversight Committee that she wants clemency to release more names. Casper Teller under oath.
Yeah, she wants to get pardoned before she can, like, basically say, like, she's not willing to speak unless she gets a pardon from the president. And that's never going to happen because if the president does pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, his presidency is over. More over than it already is.
Trump's name appears more times in the Epstein files than God's name appears in the book about God. Okay, by the way, this is the Trump Bible. Move over, King James. Trump's name also appears more times in the Epstein file than Harry Potter's name appears in the 7 books about Harry Potter. Ludwig says that in 2008 he went to Epstein's home, says he had a massage table in the living room. But Epstein said he got one every day, that it was the right type of massage. He and his wife decide to leave and say they'll never be in a room with him again. Howard then says, I'm sure the Epstein stuff is all on video. He was the greatest blackmailer of all time. Well, how would Howard know that? But now the files are public, and in 2012 we find out that he and his family are on Epstein Island. After Epstein pled guilty to state charges. I'm from Florida, I take my family to Disney World, not to Epstein Island. There are documents in the files that dispute the president's claim. And he kicked Epstein out of his club. Allegedly the president said Epstein that he...
Yeah, you know, pretty. I don't know. There's like really not much else to say there. Like, I mean, everything that Jared Moskowitz is saying is just accurate, right? And Pam Bondi had a hand in like basically covering up all this. Like, I mean, it's insane, dude. Like, all of this sort of like instances. Because, again, it's just Pam Bondi trying to fucking aura farm, right? Like, we can keep going through clips. Again, 5 hours of fucking testimony. She's just going to keep deflecting, right? With whatever Oppo research that Republicans have on her, right? All of the fucking deflections, and it's all just going to look incredibly, incredibly fucking weak. Well, what is this here by Jasmine Crockett?
Your direction, DOJ, you quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like
Okay, this doesn't really seem to, I mean, aura farming attempt there by Jasmine Crockett, but I don't like her very much, but whatever, I don't really care. Not but like I mean, Jasmine Crockett has always been really good at doing the sort of like partisan stuff, but when it comes to like, I don't know, like running a campaign seemingly for like a state representative seat, I don't think she's like particularly great at that. But she's good at grilling fucking Republicans, I do have to say. What's this?
While in office, the fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history. An attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, this is like, it's just genuinely fucking embarrassing. I think we might be getting through all the fucking goddamn clips. Yeah, we've just gone through like all of the clips. Genuinely so far, like completely and utterly fucking embarrassing sort of behavior here from Pam Bondi. I believe this is also another thing that's gone mega viral here. Ted Lieu, who also was just talking about how he believes that Pam Bondi lied under oath. And I do think that she more than like, I mean, just like Kash Patel, all these people are fucking habitual liars. They have to lie in order to be able to justify their fucking positions. And sort of like positions, and also the lies that they want, that the president wants them to consistently say over and over and over again in order to justify like the nonsense they have to spew. They have to lie. They just have to. And they're all habitual liars. These people are all just fundamentally grifters. But I mean, Kash Patel's a fucking podcast host, for fuck's sake. Like, of course he's gonna fucking lie.
Congressman, what's your reaction to Pam Bondi and her testimony so far in the hearing?
Pam Bondi lied under oath. She said there was no evidence of wrongdoing in the Epstein files with Donald Trump. That's just a lie. There's multiple documents that show wrongdoing with Donald Trump. I showed her one. A witness had called in the FBI's National Threat Operations Center and reported evidence of a crime committed by Donald Trump, and no one at Department of Justice interviewed that witness. That's just one example of Pam Bondi lying under oath. Mm-hmm. And the fact remains that as of today, there are over 1,000 acknowledged victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Pam Bondi has not held a single man accountable. That is ludicrous, shameful, and she had any decency, she should resign.
And what kind of accountability could Pam Bondi face for lying under oath?
First of all, she should prosecute the people that abuse and rape these women. And then, you know, I believe she lied on her oath. That's all captured on videotape. I encourage you to watch it. Look at what she said, and then look at the actual documents that Epstein.
We did look at it, and yeah, I do think she fucking lied about all of this stuff. Like the Howard Lutnick stuff, lied about it. All the stuff with the Epstein survivors, lied about it. She didn't redact properly. Like the DOJ didn't redact anything properly with the survivors, lied about it. They're just liars because they have to lie in order to sort of like justify their positions. Yeah, I don't think there's really like much else to say into all of this. Like honestly, it's just an embarrassment, man. Like absolute sheer absolute embarrassment here by Pam Bondi. Because again, we all know why specifically Pam Bondi is, I think, being chosen for this in particular. She is probably, like, broadly speaking, the weakest link. Like, again, there's so much that you can go through. Yeah, she was basically about to cry. Like, she got fucking mad and just, like, started slandering people. And what else are you supposed to do? Like, what else are you supposed to bring up? She's gonna be the main fall girl. She's the weakest, and she just looks fucking terrible. Like, unironically, she looked like she was about to cry. It's pathetic. Very, very fucking pathetic. But then again, in order to proselytize yourself to the extent that you are wholeheartedly willing to just cover up basically everything in the Epstein files, not properly redact the information of the people who have been doxxed because of the release of the Epstein files. It's one of those situations where it's just like, yeah, of course, like this is just it's so obvious and so clear that the administration has been doing everything possible to cover it up, and you're just basically being thrown under the bus right now, Pam Bondi. And really, like, I'm just wondering, like, when are more and more of the Trump administration officials going to say, like, they're done and they're going to start leaving? Like, because it's going to happen eventually, right? Like, this is, honestly, like, it's a bridge too fucking far, probably even for most of them. Like, let's be honest here. And it's just, it's one of those situations where it's just like, dog, like, there's, like, no justification for any of this stuff. And it's making them look worse and worse and worse. And it's just pathetic. They're trying so hard to fucking aura farm off of this. Like, Pam Bondi was trying so hard to aura farm off of this that she just comes off as looking, like, incredibly weak, petulant, and fucking pathetic. But then again, she is just a stooge for fucking Donald Trump, right? That's the point of all of this. And she's just trying to do everything possible to maintain her position. So, I don't know, she could have, like, some cushy job somewhere in, like, the private sector, or maybe in the like a podcast or some shit like that, because we all know these people are fucking grifters who work for this administration, and all the people who helped prop up this administration, they're all grifters, and they don't care about any of this stuff, so they're willing to lie, cheat, come up with schemes in order to be able to just deflect off of the fact that Donald Trump is mentioned like over 1 million times within the Epstein files, and that's just only in the half that has been released. The DOJ has basically done everything possible, along with the FBI, to just cover up any of the information on the Epstein files. The Phase 1 releases was a LARP shit show fest. Pam Bondi had opportunities herself in order to be able to investigate more stuff as AG of Florida. Didn't fucking do it. Again, at every single point in time where the DOJ and Pam Bondi and anyone within the executive branch could have done something about the Epstein files, they didn't do it. Why? Because Donald Trump was implicated in it himself, so that's why he's not going to investigate it, and also because of all the ties to Israel. That's purely what it is. And none of these people are going to fundamentally address any of that whatsoever. They don't give a shit about it, right? Obviously, the executive is not going to do that because, again, it implicates Trump too much, and all the, people who are pro-Zionist are never going to release too much information on the Epstein files because, again, it would make like Israel look way, way, way too fucking bad, right? We know this, right? And like at this point, MAGA in its House of Cards form that it already was before, it has like completely collapsed, and they're basically trying to throw Pam Bondi right now under the bus to try to stem some form of the bleeding. But it's too late. Like, it's pretty much gone. Like, you guys have already bled out, and all the political capital and goodwill that the Trump administration has basically expended to try to defend themselves from the Epstein files has, unironically, I think, just completely and utterly killed this administration. And yeah, it is pretty much what I expected were to happen. And Pam Bondi trying to like go up there and try to aura farm and look incredibly fucking pathetic while doing it is pretty much, I think, the icing on this fucking cake of, well, the pedophilic, avaricious president currently in power trying to do everything possible to cover from the fact that he shows up in the Epstein files over 1 million times and is a general fucking felon who's currently in power. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.